All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. The Touch and Go gang is here again for the third episode. Let's go. So we have a lot of CrossFit Games news and a couple other things. And so I want to just talk to, actually on the top right, or top left on my side, we got Xander Falick. Bottom left, Vic Rodriguez, and bottom right, Hannah Hardy. How's everything going, guys?
Going great.
So, Xander, how was your week so far? We'll do like a week in review.
I went to Cincinnati for the first time and competed in CrossFit in a small the Fight Like Hell Games, benefiting the Tomorrow Project, trying to raise money for veteran suicide prevention. And so that was really fun. Tied for second, had a good time. Just flying home was a cluster. That was not a great thing, where Southwest canceled my flight on Sunday morning and rebooked me for Tuesday morning. So I got to the airport at 4 a.m., had to cancel on Southwest and use 50,000 reward points to get back to Tulsa.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, all in all, like how was the whole event? Was it like well done, and the programming was great?
Ran on time, which is never happens. Programming was really great. Had a lot of fun. I happen to know the person that programmed it is Alex Stroka, at Shots by Stroka on Instagram. And so he built it himself. They did it at Cornerstone Fitness. So that's where Sam Briggs trains, and Maggie Pyran. So that was really fun. It's going to keep growing, and I'm going to keep being involved with it. So I'm excited for year 2 and see what we got to do from here.
All right. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. All right, Vic, what do you got? How was your week?
I've been good. Very busy. We were just kind of ramping up for the games here. It's going to be the first time going, so I'm actually super excited. But just another week of training down in the books, not too much to report. It's pretty boring. Although I will be training with some other misfits tomorrow, which is what I'm kind of looking forward to, which would be nice. Really, they're getting a little Massachusetts meetup, so we'll get that done pre games madness. So
okay, all right, awesome. Hannah, how was your week?
It was pretty good. Pretty chill from taking boards and doing grid stuff. So can't complain. Just getting swole. That's about it. That's what the off season is for.
Yeah, of course. So I know we talked earlier, but when's the official when you're moving to Georgia?
Official date should be October 1st, because I have no choice because my lease ends October 1st. Okay. So hopefully I'm in Georgia by then.
Yeah,
so she's homeless until October, to be determined, is what I'm hearing.
Well, no, I will definitely make sure I'm in Georgia by October 1st. But that's the official move date.
Okay, awesome. So my week got started pretty much on last Thursday, when my whole family comes home from vacation, and all of a sudden they have COVID. And so that was great. And so my daughter and I were I was pretty much watching my daughter the whole time while I'm trying to do my recruiting job at the same time. And, she wants to watch certain things like Ninja Turtles, Hotel Transylvania, all that stuff. And I'm on the phone with candidates that saying I am so sorry, my daughter's in the background. And luckily everyone's yeah, that's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. And then MacGyvered this little flag, this little microphone flag. Just I didn't want to spend $145, and so I just spent literally $10. So, and that worked. And then some editing issues. Lost a couple of videos, and I haven't really trained since Thursday. So, good times.
Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
fatherhood.
Very exciting.
Hell of a thing.
Mm-hmm. And then we're getting ready to move, so that's a whole nother story too. So. But I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to check this out. I mean, Vic, you've seen the house, so it looks unreal. I'll text you guys the pictures. So definitely not for my salary. So just let's say that. So
okay.
But so I want to hit a couple news topics that I thought were pretty interesting. So one of them, I was on LinkedIn and I noticed one of on like the news feed on the right hand side, it says Whoop's layoffs. So this is like the second round. I guess this might have been the second round of layoffs that that's Whoop's coming around for now. Obviously with inflation and all that stuff going, but do you think Whoop will actually be viable, exercise company like 5 years down the road, or do you think it's like kind of like a flash in the pan and like that's it?
Um, so I think it's probably like one, it's awful for the people losing their job, and so like that sucks, especially for the kid of a dad who was on the wrong side of those kinds of things 3 times. Um, but for Whoop, like I think they've lost a lot of trust in people that were some of the original people that bought into it, and then essentially got grandfathered off what we were promised, like never having to go to the monthly subscription. And then how many like Whoop 4.0 like debacle, like where they really overpromised a lot, and then pretty much the user experience was the opposite. So I think it can. It just depends on like where, like what are they spending money on? How are they continuing to make sure, like, is it just saturated or is it over? Like I still think it's probably viable for a lot of people introing to the wearables, but we'll see.
Vic, what do you think?
Yeah, they are going to be fine. Unfortunately, when it comes to this type of software, when they've made this big of a splash, and you see that type of traction over this many years, there's softwares out there and wearable products, not even just like, I'm talking just like straight like SaaS or straight like technology stuff that you don't think is still in business, but they've been around for about 20 to 25 years. Where they decide to go is whether or not you're going to hear them in households in the next 5 years, or they're just going to be one of those products that you see on shelves for the next 20 and you never hear about again. But this whole layoff, these rounds of layoffs are just them trying to figure out what their org can withstand. And also they're probably trying to rebrand or re-identify what their true strategy is. And until they know what that is, they can't be paying people to do stuff that they have no idea what they want them to do. So yeah, I mean, I still wear Whoop. I know a lot of people have kind of shifted away from it just because of the inaccuracies. But if other companies can get it right, with the amount of money they have, they should be able to as well. So we'll see if they're smart. We'll see if they switch up. I mean, honestly, if they have another round of layoffs, they'll have a CEO or a senior leadership or two position step down. They'll do a hire. They'll probably hire someone from a different sector who's had a lot of leadership with customer experience and trust. They'll roll that out. They'll keep the streams of like publicity going. And hopefully that should stall enough for them to actually figure out what they're doing. That's like typical playbook for this situation.
Yeah. Now, Vic, so you've seen their building right next to Fenway, like a block away. So was that them that totally remodeled that building? Because if you looked like a couple of years before Whoop actually walked in there, that building did not look like that whatsoever.
Yeah, they did that. They're a lot like if you go down to like TD Garden, there's a company called Rapid 7. They basically branded the building to look like their logo, or like put their logo out there, and like they do this really cool like edgy glass like out exterior. Same thing. It's just all about glitz and glam. Try to make it look great. You're in Boston, and everyone loves that. So the more you can make it stick out, the more presence you have in that area, and people will take you seriously, even if you're not 100% accurate. And also to Xander's point about trust, they need to really stop with these empty, meaningless social statements or posts about being trustworthy. actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see all of these posts from these companies doing this, oh, we believe in trust and we are going to continue to work, do something. Don't just say oh yeah, our functionality already actually does this, so we're trustworthy. No. Set up an initiative, set up an action plan. Tell us what progress you've made on this so-called plan of trust you seem to be lauding and applauding across the public. Don't just say it and don't do anything. There's just empty words, which is another thing, another sticking point for me and a lot of brands out there that are looking to make a splash into any sort of space, whether it be CrossFit or whether it be any other industry. That's how a lot of companies get into trouble, is they just spout off saying they're going to do all these amazing things. They glad hand, they kiss, they shake hands, they kiss babies, and they never do anything. And Whoop's in that position where if they don't step up and actually put something to paper, they're going to be the same.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Now, Hannah, when you were at the games, did Whoop actually give you a band? Did they give the team members a band, or?
I mean, now that I think about it, I guess they were giving away 4.0s, and I think they did give away bands. They did give away bands for those who already had a Whoop. Of course, if you had a 4.0, you would have to get, buy the subscription, and you already get like a free device with the subscription. So I don't know how much they really gain traction there. I mean, in the end, I think Whoop's going to be fine. I think they are going through this growth learning period that like maybe they aren't so trustworthy, or, I mean, I actually still think their heart rate data is pretty similar to any wrist device. I think it's kind of odd that they went into like the apparel and trying to weave it into there.
Because I have my Whoop 4.0 so close to my body that
they have an apparel. They have an apparel line too.
Yeah, they released undershirts, underwear, like the ankle sock one, which I always thought was the perplexing thing that they made, and then like a shooter sleeve for basketball. And I feel like they put one.
They have a bicep band too.
Oh my god!
If you're trying to look jacked.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
hump.
I mean, I mean, they obviously are doing the research, so I think they're going to be fine. They're going to refine, but they're doing as best as they can. I just think that the one thing that might actually get customers to come back is if they just made it a watch, even though I know that's the last thing they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. Companies have these ebbs and flows. So I think they're going to be just fine. They're just in a valley right now. And once they rebuild, like Vic said, they'll be just fine.
Yeah. I think the Hiller video and like him talking on Savon podcast wasn't really the greatest thing for Whoop at all, when he was just absolutely bashing them the whole time.
I mean, the thing is, a lot of people are putting that data up. They've been showing side-by-side comparisons. Like Hunter does it all the time with Polar Garmin. He's got like Apple Watch. He does side-by-side comparisons of his workouts, and he's like, something is not making sense with the data they're getting. And to be honest, my initial thought would be, hey, let's do a multi-device sync where you have it on more than one spot in your body. I know that seems, a lot of work, but when you're doing some of these tests in kin labs, they're strapping you up all sorts of ways. So if we're anything short of that, then what's it to you to put one on your wrist and put one on your lower extremity and upper extremity, and then take the difference of your heart rate fluctuations by syncing that data together to get something a little bit more comparative or accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're giving the devices away for free. You can still get the same monthly membership. You have the upkeep for 2 devices. It's not going to be a bank breaker for anyone or the company in itself if they have to replace them. So 2 cents there, I guess. If we're looking for accuracy.
Yeah.
I mean, or in a sense, the device is already very similar to what a polar chest strap looks like anyway. So I don't understand why they can't just make a chest strap and go it that way. Like, it's fine. I think it's going to be just as comparable. So
Patents? Are there patents to that?
There could be, or maybe they just
No, because
don't want to
Garmin
get.
has one. My Garmin looks very similar. Like the thing, like it's again, that's a big business decision. Like, hey, do we want to participate? Like they've always been branded as like get all your information off your wrist, goes to your phone, look at it, like day strain, and it goes back to the idea of just gamification of the Whoop, the like a real intro level Garmin following the body battery, or the like Apple Watch rings, right? It's the gamification to like help like our minds, like if we're playing a game, enjoy it more. And a lot of people, like my mom, just loves filling her rings like every day, and like that's massive for her, like the steps and all the activity. But it's like it's great for the introduction to like your body and how it works and reading the data, but it's not going to be the most accurate thing in the world. And some people are just trying to do that next level. It's like Whoop's going to be around for 5 years. We don't see what is it, Mark Pro or the other like a STEM machine from like 4 or 5 years ago, but they're still around. Like they're just not going to be as loud about the marketing because they don't need it anymore.
All right. Well, speaking about money, so I read a Morning Chalk article about some semifinals not making enough money for this year. Shocker, because CrossFit did that during regionals, and they weren't making that much money off of regionals either. So I've noticed. I mean, I seen like at least like the European and Australian regions going on, and they're like have a packed house. But then you go to Knoxville for 2 weekends in a row, and you barely see anybody there.
And
so
it's like, and it stinks because you want these things to do well because it helps continue to grow the sport. Because it was like Syndicate Crown was first weekend and Lowlands Throwdown. And you always saw Lowlands first during the day if you were here in America because of the time difference. But when you like saw like it was full, and then you ended up like watching Syndicate, like, or really any of the semis except for Granite Games, but Granite Games had its own team of 3 competition back, which was different. They weren't really that well attended, which stinks because you're like, you want them to do well, and we got to make sure like where's the return for these people hosting these semi events, or are we just going to get a bad bunch of rounds of changes every year and we don't know what city it is and people just hold it for the distinction of a semi and then don't like a golf tournament essentially.
I think they need to be in at least in the United States, or they need to be in more high profile spots. I mean, Knoxville isn't a travel destination for anyone really.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Knoxville, but that's just because I love Tennessee and southern towns like that. But like moving Mac back to DC, bringing back the West Coast Classic in Del Mar or a similar event there, I think Atlas Games will become big once the
Canada's regulations like settle out, and which I agree. It's just like probably like location is definitely going to be a big one, and then it's just like
just to kind of note there, like when we were at Syndicate, there was very little. I know this is going to sound, but it's all about the details, right? So we talk about aesthetics and things that make things right. So vendors, the little vendor village was okay, cool, all right, fine, I get it. It's kind of expensive. They were charging them like an arm and a leg to be there outside in the heat. So they didn't have that big of a draw. But then you're also looking at food options. And they really didn't do a good job or draw enough attention for these food trucks to come out and actually do anything that was like, worthwhile. And those are little details that keep people coming in to actually be profitable. And they have to be more strategic with what they're doing in terms of events. Actually, during the semifinal, like what else was there? What else are we doing? When you go to other sporting events, there engaging the crowd in more than just trivia about CrossFit athletes and throwing out t-shirts and protein shakers. I'm going to be very honest with you. If these professional stadiums and arenas are doing advertisements and they're emailing ahead of time and they're bringing people to the venue to bring other people there, if they're not there just for CrossFit or for whatever sport they're promoting, they're there for someone who's going to be presenting something, someone who's, I don't know, a musician, something of that sort. They need to think that it's more than just CrossFit, because the only way you get more eyes on these events is you have to go outside of the normal demographic you're already catering to, because that's how you grow that. You get new eyes and you work on acquiring new event goers. So it's just the long-term strategy around CrossFit as a sport still contradicts CrossFit from the affiliate sense, where doing all of that for the sport doesn't coincide with their values about being there at the gym. They're not trying to draw people in that don't want to be there, but you have to do that for the sport so you can bring dollars in, because people in seats, butts in seats, is what generates the real revenue, which is what allows them to put on bigger and better events, which is what allows athletes to get paid, which is what allows them to not have to work a full-time job and balance training in between, and they can just compete. So there's that.
Now, do you think if they move the Knoxville location to Nashville, do you think that would bring in a bigger crowd? Because obviously Nashville's like a big bar scene,
So
there's a lot of people love going there.
Yeah, it's the ease of getting there, right? Like
Yeah.
if you go to Del Mar, that's not super hard in California. If you go to Atlas Games, which is in Montreal, it's pretty easy to get to if you want to drive or fly. Eagan, Minnesota, it's Minnesota. It's pretty easy, and they have a consistency of putting on a very good show. It's just like Nashville, Charlotte, you need to have a couple, make it a little bit easier, more direct for some folks. But it's also just exhausting to watch the same events every single weekend too.
And I think even from a vendor standpoint, I think the vendors know that semifinals aren't that big of a draw, at least in the United States. So they're not going to show up. I mean, Vendor Village was bigger than last year. Max Vendor Village last year was very, very small. And there's actually people outside this year at the one this year. So I thought it was at least a step up. So I know it still looked barren, but at least compared to last year, I think last year had 4 vendors.
Wow.
So at least this one had, over double. And then CrossFit had an appearance. CrossFit didn't have a booth really last year at MAC. So I think everything's going in the right direction. But like Vic said, I understand that it's you need some other things to draw you to a CrossFit event. And I'm glad that Granite Games at least brought back the teams of 3, the community event, because I think that helps a lot. So maybe event organizers kind of have to think about that again. MAC used to be a huge competition like that. I know it's a lot more to deal with, but you might have to keep that in mind just to bring people through the door. And it's a better way to get, more registration fees. And again, more spectators, you might get more volunteers because there's more people at the event too.
Yeah. Maybe they need a band and a funnel cake car.
Also, also not to be unfair, but it was my first semifinal event. So I'm coming in as an outsider, essentially looking into what other previous semifinals have looked like. So, the assessment might be a little crass or maybe a little unfair based on where CrossFit was and where it's going. That's also something to take into account. But yeah, I would honestly think that another thing that actually was a little bothersome was when you're purchasing tickets for the Syndicate Crown, you go on Ticketmaster, and if you waited a few weeks or something to go buy tickets, it was telling you that it was sold out and you had to buy single tickets or you had to do so. And you go into the syndicate after you buy those single day passes, and the price difference is minuscule and it's empty. It's like, why are you putting a limit on these passes when the goal is volume? You're not going to make the additional money by selling single day passes. That's last minute stuff. That's stuff you do at the door. Purchase a ticket at the door, pay the premium. That's where you make those dollars. You're losing dollars by making it scarce online when you already know your capacity really isn't what it is, what you need it to be. So
They need to have flames. They need to have flames on those leagues. Just
Korean
like in
Pro was
Australia.
pretty-
Yeah.
Yeah, Korean Pro is awesome.
With
And
the flamethrowers.
yeah, doing the whole event for Hannah with everybody wearing pink. I mean, there was tons of things that Torian did really well to both like promote the athletes, promote other charities outside. They did a great job. I think it could translate to some of the ones in North America.
Yeah. They need to make it more like a death metal concert, pretty much with the fire.
No, we don't. What we need is more like Odessa or Flume or like EDM like vibes. That and like just some Zach Bryan. That's all we need.
Well, I don't know
Also-
about. I'm not a country guy, so Zach Bryan. I don't. But EDM stuff, yeah, like
Dead
go
to me.
for it. Yeah.
what about on floor challenges where CrossFit can give people a discount to their L1 if they win this challenge and everyone and the whole crowd is watching? I mean, those are little novelty things that people take back with them and they'll share it to everyone at the gym. Like, dude, I got to go on the floor at semifinals and we had a pull-up challenge, or there was like a workout and I won the workout and now I get to do an L1 for half price. You know, I know it sounds really silly, but for some people that means the world. And having that goodwill being built up, promoting CrossFit as well, can be a win-win. So
that might be a liability issue too. So what happens if someone gets themselves hurt on the floor?
we sign waivers all the time.
I mean, if they sign a waiver, yeah, have at it. Like, hey, you sign this waiver. If you get hurt, it's not our fault. So, but I mean, I could just imagine like the nightmare of trying to do that. But I mean, that'd be cool doing it. Like, at least get some people like after every couple of events, like do that. So,
CrossFit's built on waivers.
yeah. All right. So, for each one of you guys, what do you think? Like one thing that might help some of these semifinal events become better?
Man, is like you're just difficult competing against how many other sports and traveling for it. Like our sport is very popular to everyone listening to this podcast. I think we still need to continue to grow as much as we can and hopefully make it a little bit easier but I don't really have one. That's like the hard part, right? Like so much to compete against. I can't think of one right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could say partner with other professional sports arenas and try to schedule in between other events like that so people are already in the area and check it out. Maybe that's another way to make these events more successful. Like imagine having a CrossFit competition at Fenway Park and then that night they break stuff down and the Red Sox play or something. I don't know. I know it sounds almost impossible to set it up that way, but maybe that's what we need to try to focus on, is try to have a multi-sport approach to bring on those extra eyes and make a full day of it.
All right.
I think with me, it's going back to at least the locations. I think in the United States, it is hard having the most semifinals. So, I don't think you're going to have all the spectators go to all four of them. So like, travel around North America. But I think making them into community events as well, like Granite Games did, is a good way to bring spectators, at least as like a short-term fix before, the sport could become more popular and then more people go to the semifinals.
Yeah, I think Strength and Depth has done the community WODs in between, like after like everyone's workouts, and I think that's been like a really like big thing for them over there. So I mean, yeah, maybe just incorporate all that stuff. So it might be a great idea. All right, guys. The next one, all right. We are going to talk about the top 5 men and women and everyone's sleepers picks. So I got my little piece of paper right here, ready to go. Let's start off with Xander. All right? So who are your top 5 men in your sleeper pick?
All right, so top 5 men. Let's go. Medeiros taking it all. Olsen bounces back from semis, takes second. Patty V comes in taking third. Behind him is Jeff Adler, and then top 5 is Gerard. So I
All
think
right.
Gerard has a really good, hoping so. I think it'd be a good storyline. Sleeper pick, Lazar Dukic.
All right.
So
All right.
Laza's probably gonna, I think, surprise a lot of people this year.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, definitely. So Vic, what do you got?
So I do have, so I've got Justin at the top. I've got Patty V second, Adler third. I have Guy in fourth. And then to round it out, I honestly think Roman Krenikov will take fifth. And then a dark horse that's also an alternate for rookie of the year for me, who I think could go, make a big splash, is Tudor Magda.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah, that's a big sleeper pick.
I mean, the thing is, like, it's his first year, and he has all the tools to do well. And it's all about, like, hey, when the lights are on, let's see what happens. And he has the potential to knock it out the park.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, it's really going to mess up that leaderboard. I mean, he has a chance of sneaking in like third or fourth if everything goes his way.
All right, good. All right, Hannah, what you got?
All right. So I have Pat, Justin, Britt Pikowski in third, Saxon Panchik in fourth, and then BKG in fifth. My dark horse, even though I don't think he's really a dark horse, is Roman. So that's what I'm thinking. I really do like the Tudor Magda pick, though. I have him in like my rookie of the year list. So.
All right. We all kind of have like the same people in our list.
Wait till we get to the females, guys.
Oh.
I don't know if we know who's coming in first, but you guys hold on later for about 4 minutes from now.
Can we do like 2 through 6 then for the girls?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I guess so.
So my top 5 guys are obviously Justin, number 1. No, I was all right. So I have Justin and Noah at 1 and 2. I almost went Noah number 1 because I think he's got something to prove this year. And I was
coming out hot and blowing up in a workout.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stick with Justin. So Justin,
yeah,
Noah.
There you go. That was an easy. Let's just slide that comment in.
Yeah. So my third pick is Roman Krenikov.
Okay.
He's my third because like that dude's a gamer too. He's killed it in some of these workouts, but he hasn't had the chance to come over here. And I really think at this point he's really going to shine this year because he's really got a lot to prove. So
that's a good pick. I had him. He's like, you finish and then I'll.
Yeah. And so fourth, I almost didn't put him in even in the top 5. Pat Bellner.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
He won on my list.
I know.
So outside of
hold on, I got one more guy. I got 2 more people. This is only four guys. So and then my 5th guy is Guy. And then my obviously the sleeper pick is going to be Ricky Garrard. So I almost put him in the top 5 too. So
yeah, I think like kind of rounding out that mix of like who's the dark horse, like 6th pick. Like, have you guys like tried to figure out your 6 through 10s where it's like Tudor, Dallin, Roman, the Guy, Gerard, but there's like that
BKG,
weird, BKG is like in there, but then there's like, you knew who your clear cut top like 3 or 4 is.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at the top 5 as like who I think is really going to end up there because the field is stacked. Like, you've got Jonakoski as well. you've also, I mean, I didn't even put BKG in the top 5, but there's a lot of guys out there who can make a difference and can sneak in there. Again, like the number one goal is you don't have to win every single event. You just have to not
Take
finish
all the
too
seconds.
low.
Just take second.
Nope. But if you have if you have a limiting event, just make sure it doesn't absolutely crush you. Like don't finish 38th in the swim.
Yeah.
Yeah, but consistency plays the role. We know what Noah does. Patty V just takes third through last and then just digs himself out of a nice kind of hole from there.
Honestly, I'm very close to saying that Justin may not repeat this year, even though I have him as first. I think he's the most well-rounded, but like I said, if that dark horse comes in and the storm's just right, there's a very good chance that Adler or Pat Vellner take that first place from Justin.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
But I think that's what makes the men's competition so cool is that, like, yes, Justin
Are we
won.
saying the goats are bad for CrossFit? That's the way I just interpreted that take. It's like she just said Tia Claire Toomey's bad for CrossFit.
I think it's just like it's something different. I think, I love seeing, this like huge dominance factor, but at the same time, I love seeing that there's so many great guys in the men's field that it could be a toss-up. It literally just comes down to one bad event.
Yep.
So what you're saying is Tia Claire Toomey is the U.S. women's softball team that took out softball from the Olympics because they were so dominant.
I mean, basically.
Yeah, my example is going to be the New England Patriots. So they're like the New England Patriots. Everyone hates it because they're so good every single year.
Everyone hates Boston because all they do is win right now.
Well, that's true.
Possibly the most infuriating thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's crazy because like I remember seeing a poster a couple of years ago saying like there's a kid said I've never seen a losing season since I've been born, and I'm like on any sport I'm like God that's insane to think about that. Insane.
Don't worry, your Detroit Lions reign of terrors coming your way in 27.
No, I live in Tampa Bay. What are you talking about?
Champa Bay.
Yeah, it's actually Tampa Bay, but you close.
Oh my gosh. When all 3 of our sports teams wins in pretty much 1 year, I mean, you can't beat that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I agree. All right. Go ahead.
When that happened.
All right. So we're going to go for the top 5. Obviously, we all know who's going to be number 1.
Yeah, it's
bear in mind if she gets injured or whatnot. I mean, we all know Tia's going to kill it.
Like,
I think with one arm,
limb would still win. Yeah, I still think she could win with one arm. Like it's entering like what does like how many injuries could she sustain and still win?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So Xander, who's your top 5?
So Tia, I'm going second's going to be Mal O'Brien. Like
Ooh.
I'm just calling it now.
Okay.
Stop. And that is firmly like planted that take. And then I think third is going to be Daniel Brandon, go DBE energy. We're going to end up seeing Haley Adams in fourth. Cara Saunders from Australia rounds out the top 5. And then dark horse, Emma McQuaid coming out of Ireland. I think there's a very, very good chance she does great like this year.
Okay. All right. Vic, what do you got?
Okay. So I've got Tia. I know. Shocker. I've got Tia number 1. However, I have a little bit different here. So it was tough for me to kind of put this, but I originally was going to put DB as second, but then, we're forgetting about someone who's super dominant, and that's also Laura Horvath. So we're going Tia, Laura, DB, Mal, and to round it out, Jacqueline Dahlstrom. She's been around, and I think she has what it takes to actually be in the top 5 this year.
All right.
And my dark horse, it's a bit of a homer pick, it's Paige Semenza. I
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. She's
Look,
awesome,
man,
by the way. She's awesome.
I can't not mention her. I honestly think she's going to be top 10. But when we looked at Dark Horse, we're thinking about someone who has the ability to
That's
disrupt
top
the top
10.
5.
Yeah.
I think Paige is top 10 regardless of what happens. But like I said with Tudor, if the storm's right, she could sneak right up in there in that top 5. And she could really make her mark because I mean, all these people have all the tools to do really well and put it together. But if there's someone who knows how to perform and who can learn on the fly and who's endured some of those losses in the past and has learned from them, it's Paige.
Mhm.
So I definitely think that she's going to put her mark on the games this year. And that's what it's honestly what I've been thinking.
And she's and I know she's laser focused this year.
Yeah, she's not messing around.
Yeah.
I guess we'll do rookie of the year after.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So Hannah, who do you got?
All right. So my picks: Tia, Laura, Cara, Haley, and then Mal. My dark horse is Gabby Magala.
Okay.
That's a good pick. I like that pick.
So, I mean, Gabby to me, she doesn't have any holes except for her legless rope climbs. And they've improved to a point where they're not going to take her out of contention anymore. And I mean, I believe it's the same thing with Laura too. Even if you see a strict deficit handstand push-up, it's not going to be her best event, but it's not like she's going to get dead last or anything like that. I think Tia and Laura just blow away the field. I think 3 through 5, there could be a huge mix in that. I think Cara is just so happy this year, especially with her family now being in the States and going to the games, that she's just going to have such an amazing time. Haley, I want her to get podium so badly. I'm such a Haley Adams fan, but just because of that strength hole, I know that
I feel like she's gonna, like, anybody getting the weird vibe that Haley Adams could potentially end up being the Dan Bailey of the female division, where it just keeps not getting podium.
Dang, maybe.
I
hope not.
I hope not, but I mean, it kind of seems that way, at least until her strength finally catches up, at least to a point where it's not going to keep her out.
Yeah.
And then,
watching her during semifinals, even though she was doing really well, she didn't look 100% healthy on her events. And I was watching them, she was pushing through and grinding through some of those events, and it kind of seemed like she was like in the past, like she's had like little nagging injuries, and she's just done her best to hide them. And I think during the semifinals, she was also kind of hiding some of those. And I'm hoping that she's healthy now, but I feel like the amount of volume that she goes through, it almost looks like it's limiting her overall like maximum potential. So just my 2 cents. I mean, that's why I don't have her in the top 5. Something about it just seems like she has, again, like a lot of these women on this field, they have the tools, but I just don't think she's going to be able to put it together during the games. Not because I don't like her. I think she's great, but
I think she's just such a veteran. She knows exactly how to win. She has that mindset. I think she also believes that like anybody's beatable, which is what I love. And I mean, she said herself too that, she loves doing her conditioning for strength. And she did step aside somewhat from the conditioning, but I still don't think it's enough. I think everyone, even in the Mayhem camp, is saying like, you can literally stop doing all conditioning and you'll still go win events and be in the top 5 in any endurance or gymnastics event if you work on your strength. It's just trusting in yourself. And I think she'll learn that very soon.
Now you need to call Mayhem the Mayhem Empire. Not just Mayhem Empire.
I'm just going
to is this where we insert the Star Wars like Darth Vader soundtrack? Because I'm just over it. Yeah, I'm over it.
It's like the Patriots. A lot of people are over them. So
No, like they're the Vincent Kennedy McMahon of like the CrossFit world.
Oh,
I just
retirement. Enjoy retirement.
I love that Mayhem made their athlete training center and literally just like haven't really posted anything about it. Just one day they're just training in another place and you're like, what is this? Unless like I'm behind on Mayhem videos and didn't know that.
yeah, I'm definitely behind. So, but anyway, so here are my top 5. So obviously Tia, no surprise there. Cara Saunders is number 2.
Okay.
1 and 2 for the Aussies, and then Laura is number 3. I almost put Danielle Brandon on the top 3, but obviously with the whole change of her moving down to Florida, leaving, underdog, and obviously she's going to see them there. So I thought there was going to be a little.
What? No, I can't believe it. She's
So
gonna have to like go face to face with the
Yeah.
underdog athletics team.
So
Wow.
I think that might be an issue. So that's why I got her down to 4. And then Gabriella Magala is number 5 for me because she was 6th last year. And I think that she's got something going on this year that I think she's like ready to, even move up even higher. And then my sleeper pick, I have Haley Adams, but I almost wanted to switch it to Mal O'Brien because I know she's there, but like has a full year of like being part of like Matt's team up in Vermont and stuff like that. And I don't know if the pressure of her trying to win the whole thing is going to get to her this year. So that's why I kind of didn't really put her in my sleeper pick. I think she's going to do well this year, but I don't really think, well, I just hope the pressure of her being under Matt and all that stuff doesn't really get to her this year.
Yeah. Like that's like I feel like it's just gonna be so tight up there for 2 through 10. We all know, like, barring like catastrophic event, Tia Claire Toomey retires as the greatest CrossFit Games champion. Period. End of story. Goat, 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 goat emoji.
Mm-hmm. And do you think this is going to be the last year she's going to be at the games?
Yeah, right. Like if she even goes for 7, that'd be insane. But I feel like this is am I crazy for this take? We all think it's like the Jordan like retirement tour where we're not talking about it.
Nah, I just think she loves winning. I don't think she's gonna stop. I don't. I don't see it. The Winter Olympics just passed. She wasn't able to do it. She got another 2 years. She doesn't have any real other aspirations to do any other minor competition, and she loves competing.
Well, she does Olympic weightlifting too, so that's another thing she does.
So when's that? When does she qualify? When
Summer Olympics. She was at the Olympics.
2016. Yeah.
She was in the Brazil Olympics.
Janeiro, yeah.
Rio de Janeiro. Yeah. So she might just do that. She might just be like, retire from CrossFit and just stick to weightlifting, maybe win a medal there, and then all of a sudden go to the Winter Olympics and try to win a medal, get in there.
But she's out of the Winter Olympics because she didn't qualify. And then the next Olympics is what, 2024?
Mm-hmm.
She got another year. She ain't stopping.
Wow, okay.
All right. And do you think that this might be Rich's last year?
As team, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like all but like determined from him being the worst leaker of all time about his own career.
Yeah, I know.
The guy's just playing with nobody's emotions and just wasting just like LeBron James retirement tour speeches on just the guy's going Masters. Like
no way. Do you think he'd really go Masters and just?
Yep.
That would be really fun to see.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It would just be one big bro sesh.
But they don't make the Masters don't make that much money. It's like 20 grand.
You kidding me?
What does he need money for? He already makes money.
I understand that, but I'm just
Richard
saying, like,
Froning Jr. is going to be a Masters athlete because it doesn't matter. He's going to bring the eyeballs and put the butts in the seats that the semifinals cannot.
Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I know
until Dexter Keaton Hopkins shows up and then just runs absolutely rampant through the entire Masters division at 35 and 39. But yeah, we got like 3 or more years till that happens. So just early takes only.
All right. So let's go for Rookie of the Year. All right. So it could be either a male or female. So Xander, who do you got for Rookie of the Year?
I'm going to go with so last year's was Mal O'Brien. This year, I think it's gonna end up being a female Emma Lawson.
Damn. Yeah.
Don't worry, I had my male one written down, and we already talked about it in like the 6th pick. So I was like, yeah, I'll just mention somebody we haven't so far.
Who is your other one?
Roman. It's like,
Oh yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's
I
the
told
thing
you.
is
People
people
forget
look-
about that.
he's like qualified but never shown up. Yeah, he had trouble getting into this country. Everybody's acting like I know the sophomore who I know who I want to do well. Victor's pick of Paige, I had already like kind of felt like I was like, he's gonna make a dark horse pick, and it's like Paige is definitely gonna be doing well. And I was like, I got somebody that people are not thinking about.
True. You picked that. That was my female pick. It was Emma. It was Emma or Tudor as rookie, but I just having Roman,
It ruins everything.
just
It ruins like
way over my head. I was like, I guess he does qualify as a rookie.
yeah. Like we think like he's qualified for some like since the every country in the world tour 2019 games. But like he's never been able to show up. So this is going to be interesting.
Does he automatically win Spirit of the Games for qualifying the most times and not being able to show up?
I don't know. Like nobody's heard an interview from him, so I'm not sure if his English goes over that well. Maybe
You know,
we just don't
his
give it to
English.
him for that.
I don't think he has it doesn't speak English well at all. Like
Oh, okay.
nothing, non-existent.
Yeah.
He smiles though.
Well,
Hey,
I mean, that's a universal language. So
I would do whatever it needed to get into the country to compete at CrossFit. At like that point, it's like 5 years of not being able to do it. So, but I guess Victor's up for who? Oh wait,
no, he did Tudor, and who was the other person?
I had Tudor and also had Emma, because I forget if rookie was just one, but those were my two. I'd go Tudor over Emma Lawson, although she did some work at Atlas.
Yeah. So
All right, Hannah, who do you got?
Oh man, I was hoping like you guys would choose like one of my picks, and you guys didn't. So, oh man. All right, I want to shout out my girl Alexis. Alexis Raptis is the real deal. She and Haley were 1 and 2, and literally the only reason Alexis didn't win is that she tripped over a barbell in the last event, running to the finish line. So she has so much potential. She's been grooming for this. She's coming from the teenage division, just like all these other people, and she's finally making her mark. And seeing that comeback story that she's had from West Coast Classic last year to this year at semifinals, it's been so cool to see. And like she doesn't really have a weakness, which is awesome to see. Even if you said that, oh, she doesn't have the strength numbers, dude, she's strong. She just cleaned like 235 with ease. She's a strong girl. So I'll wait to see what Tom says for his other pick, and then I'll say my other rookie of the year pick.
Okay. My rookie of the year after I'm definitely changing it now. It's gonna be Roman, but before I had Spencer Panchik.
the other Panchik.
The other Panchik. So this is his first year.
The other one.
Yeah, and then I picked him, and then there's another girl. I forget her name. I thought Spencer was gonna probably be the rookie of the year, and so this girl, I forget. She's from England.
Oh, Lucy Campbell.
Yes, I thought she could possibly be the rookie of the year too as well. But I mean, you have so many young like rookie in the female division. It's so hard to pick over there because you have like Emma Lawson, like you have like so many people. It's just like
it's so diverse after first. It's just
Yes.
so many people we can pick from.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going for Roman for my rookie of the year.
All right.
I'm sorry
What?
for ruining everybody's like day with like, wait, this is the logical decision. But CrossFit can go outside the lines and pick Emma Lawson.
So I was trying to read a couple things, and I guess they were talking about programming for the games. Now they're actually going to use an odd object, like something that they've never used in a new movement in the games. So have you guys heard anything about the programming at all?
No, the only thing was like the couple articles that were out there. It's like, oh, they reserved some space to go running through downtown. So it could be a long run of some kind. Didn't seem like
Or
they had
bike.
done anything for, yeah, probably mix of both. Maybe. And they didn't get any, but I guess nobody like, don't see, I'm not surprised they try to do something new because they want to make sure it's not just like Dave who came up with these goofy, crazy new things. But we'll see. Like I don't think it's going to be like super crazy. But they did announce the lift coming back Saturday night.
Mhm.
So we'll see that.
No, and I've been trying to like catch up with all the podcasts Adrian has been on, and there's always been those hints that we as a sport haven't progressed in gymnastics that much in comparison to to everything else. Like our conditioning is getting to the elite level. Our strength is also getting to the elite level, especially if someone can participate in the Olympics, or several people can in Olympic weightlifting. So I wouldn't be surprised if some higher gymnastic skills come out. I just hope that whatever standards they have for the movement are okay. So I wouldn't be surprised we see a couple more gymnastics movements too.
Like the toes to bar, chest to bar pull up.
Oh no!
Hashtag Grid League.
Oh my gosh! If Grid League comes in, I love Grid League so much, but I think they should be separate. But
What do you
even
mean?
like
Grid League and CrossFit aren't the same?
I mean, no, they're not. But I don't see like why a back uprise can't be in CrossFit. I don't see. I mean, if there's better standards for the freestanding handstand push-up, at least they know how to do them this year, which would be
Uneven
awesome.
bars, just like gymnastics. Just bring that in. I want to see quality, like stick it level Olympian flips. And
You know what would be
turns.
really hilarious if they did something as simple as an L-sit hold on the rings for like max time after like a multi-interval like AMRAP. You're like AMRAP 4x4. You're gonna do this buy-in for work, and then you get on the rings and whatever your max L-sit hold, it counts as part of your score. Imagine how, I mean, that's a little boring, but again, like those are things that like people like kind of scoff at, but L-sits kill.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Vince Vaughn doing the Iron Cross at Old School, smoking a cigarette.
Still holding.
Yes.
Still holding.
No, but I don't think there's like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if something with the LSAT came up. I mean, it comes
Well,
out.
they did it in 2011, so it can
Right.
come back.
Right.
But
and they're just like going back to like those like true CrossFit skills, like press the handstands, or yeah,
Where's
there's
the
like a freaking
softball
pommel
toss at?
horse
No.
in the old gym.
What about when's the last time they did Amanda at the CrossFit Games?
When they did the 21-15, the 40, Amanda's 45,
Yeah,
2019. That was the oh no, it was 18 with Gerard versus Frazier, and Gerard won.
17?
No, it was
17.
17. Yeah.
But Gerard
Sorry.
was in 7. Okay, yeah. All right. I was just thinking, I would imagine that there's got to be some sort of benchmark that comes out.
They
It'd
put
be
everybody on a plane and take them back to the ranch.
I just love that. I just love that the heavy clean and jerk at 225, 155 is coming out. I mean, you saw like, you know, Dave brought the Wall Street weightlifter out there to do that and said, oh, he beat Rich's time. And then Rich did it at an Avocare convention, whatever Hiller put up.
That was a long time ago when he did that. I remember him doing that too.
So, I mean, who knows? Maybe it's that. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But I'm excited.
What was the stage 1 games workout? It's the 400-meter run overhead squats
Yeah.
at 185. What is that?
Oh, it was just like a scaled up version of Nancy.
Okay, that's okay. I honestly think that if they do some sort of like running interval, it's got to be different than that clean and jerk ladder, the clean ladder that they did last year.
I think that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they adjusted that workout on the fly with the time caps, it was like, oh, this is when we overprogrammed. I love it, but it's rare, right? So that was the best thing about Castro is like you didn't see that. So again, Bosman's going to be held to a criminal level of standard, right, for what's been built there.
Which is completely unfair for him. I mean,
Yeah.
this is technically, well, he's had to put his fingers in some of the programming with Castro just to kind of. I mean, he's even done some of the semifinal workout programs, and he's like shown it to Castro and be like, hey, what do you think? And he kind of goes back, but like obviously like that being this is his first year. I mean, he's already seen Dave Castro for how long doing the programming, so he kind of has a gist of like, you know, how the story unfolds throughout the whole like 15 workouts for like the whole weekend. So I mean, he's gonna obviously like, everyone's gonna say like, oh, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna be pissed about it. He's gonna like, oh, I don't know, this was awful, but like, you know, you can't please everybody.
Yeah, but again, the outside looking in will do it. It's like the wall walk workout from the games last year. Nobody wanted to watch it. It was terrible to experience and really messed up a lot of high level athletes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe they'll do the 1 mile run, the 100, 300, like, you know, double unders, and then the 1 mile.
Triple three.
Yeah, the triple
Yeah.
three. Yeah.
3K, 300, 3 mile.
Yeah. They might like people just running on a, you know, treadmill for a whole mile by themselves.
The half marathon comes back on the row.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be like a hashtag or someone's going to be like Castro would never. There's going to be a bunch of the same people that say that should have gone unbroken that are sitting on their couch. They're going to be the same way. Like, this is not like it was when Castro was around.
Back in my day when Dave Castro's not a prick and we had great programming.
And we were walking up the school up a hill both ways with no shoes on.
And honestly, Castro's super supportive of Adrian doing this. So I don't understand. People just want to be mad at stuff. So I say let them, whatever.
I'm really interested this year. So, well, speaking about the CrossFit Games, so we have two people that have been to the games before. One participated, and then you have two people that have never been to the games. But one's going. Are you going? You're going this year, right, Vic?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have one going to the games, and I am not going. So because it's just my wife would just absolutely lose her mind because we're moving. So
like you got a ton of stuff you have going on.
Yeah, but I know there's a lot of people that are going for the first time at the CrossFit Games. So what? As a fan, obviously as an athlete, it's a different story. So if you know, Hannah, you can kind of talk about like later on, you can talk about like how that like what it's like being an athlete at the games, because I know it's probably not that fun. So, but like obviously Xander, like you've been around Vendor Village, you've done the CrossFit Games thing. So what do fans that have like never been to the games before, like what should they expect like going to the games?
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Definitely get there early because you're going to get stopped by security. They're going to look at your bags, all that jazz, just making sure people know that. But it's always nice to kind of just see the entire community come together. You're going to end up seeing like the big rogue tent. Honestly, if like you do end up driving like I do, and can get equipment and bring it home, it's actually a very good deal. And it's just cool. Like if you're a big nerd on CrossFit, like most of us are, like, oh, I got a couple games plates last year. I got two pairs of 25s. I'll probably try to pick up like a pair of 35s this year or something, like little stuff like that. But it's like, go see the Noble tent. Don't spend too much money there. I would go over really to the Innovate tent because that's where the better CrossFit shoes are built.
You're not biased at all either. So
I'm not biased. I just know a lot of people that work for them. That's shameless plug. My Innovate G300s are dope, and the Scott Pantrick are on pre-order right now. You're welcome, Fury, for the free advertisement. # no free ads. But it's just like, can you like they'll have the gym set up, so if you want to go work out on site, you can go do that. If the Ram TRX thing is, that's also really cool and a lot of fun. Like if you just want to get thrown around in a truck with like a sports car performance, but best thing, like last year for me, I really enjoyed the Madison Pass. I understand it's super expensive to get access to as well, but it made it very easy to get like water, coffee, drinks, those kinds of things. Acai Bowl, awesome. Those are going to be probably the big seller for always the longest line, not the burgers. Everybody always wants to get the acai bowl.
What about funnel cakes?
I didn't really eat that much because I was running around doing the photography or the social media side of like helping out. So everybody was like, "Do you want one?" And I drank like 15 monsters that weekend. I'm not proud of that, but the white ones. But yeah, that happened.
But so like what else? What, like obviously like the Victory Grips is going to be there. They have a couple
Like
other
you can go
vendors and stuff.
shopping, like Bear Complex, Victory, they'll have that. But it's more like go explore downtown. Like honestly, get away. Like when you're not watching the events, you're not in the Coliseum, you're not spending your money. You feel like go downtown. There's always like a bunch of places doing stuff. There's that Rogue Bar that everybody goes to. There's just plenty of great stuff, especially to do around the Capitol. Like you can run along the city on the outskirts by the water, which is really pretty in the mornings. Like there's going to be a lot to do. And then just seeing what athletes show up to work with what brands, if they weren't able to qualify, just kind of seeing those kinds of things. But I would like highly, like, it's beautiful. Try to go, understand it's expensive, but try to, and then, go to the offsite, like DECA comps, I think running the tier house workouts. And then I listened to another podcast talking about HWPO is going to have one.
Yeah, shameless plug. Big Dane. Go to Big Dane all week.
And it's free for people, right?
Yeah, the Buttery Bros will be there. Podium will be there. We'll be doing they'll be doing workouts. They'll be doing CrossFit Hour, I believe, like Friday or something. So it's a fundraiser as well for that cause. There's a lot going out there.
All right, very cool, very cool. So, Vic, what are you expecting for this year, being your first time being at the games?
Fatigue. I have a really good feeling I am not going to get much sleep. I will be. I think that. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the atmosphere is like when you're in the Coliseum, watching these events go off. I'm expecting to probably spend more money than I want to. I have a feeling I'm definitely going to get sucked in on some of the deals. I try not to, but it's like, you're here, might as well. But I have some friends that are from that lived in the area, and they said exactly what Xander said: go downtown, go explore. They've got a pretty good setup when it comes to like food and drink and like nightlife, which again, I'm also shocked about because it's Wisconsin.
There's a huge college there.
There's a huge party scene.
They're one of the biggest party schools in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I think Midwest. I think nothing.
You privileged man who lives in Boston and Massachusetts.
Yeah. We look at anything.
Our Central Plainsman that I live with in this town is a financial man.
Y'all look like every time we look at anything past New York, it's like up cornfields, agriculture,
LA.
Nothing.
Nice.
Like cornfields, mountains.
Yep.
California.
Yep. Yeah, I remember singing that song in elementary school. Yeah, land of the free, beautiful mountains or whatever. All right, yeah, that's all that. Then cities. But yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I mean, I think it's going to be a very memorable experience, especially because we're going to get to see a lot of the athletes that we actually know compete, and a lot of the athletes that we know have been working super, super hard to actually see it pay off, to see them, actually get to the stage that they've been vying for. I think that means a lot more, and seeing them, show off all of that work means more than just being there. I think that's the real takeaway for me. So
yeah, when I watched some of the semifinal events this year, and I saw like Paige or like some other people that have been on my podcast, and I show my son, I'm like, hey, I know that person, that she's been on my podcast or he's been on my podcast. And like, it's so cool just to think about like, hey, I've talked to these people before, and it's like so cool getting to be like the chance to shoot the shit with them pretty much. But I'm looking for next. Hopefully, cross my fingers. We can maybe get a media pass for the CrossFit Games next year. So who knows? So we could be real media.
There we
So,
go. There we
real
go.
media. But Hannah, so since you've been an athlete at the games, obviously your experience is going to be a little bit different compared to being a spectator. So what has your experience been like going to the games?
Well, I've been in multiple capacities. I've been a spectator once, I've been a coach once, I've been an athlete once. So, it's been fun each time. I mean, as an athlete, we don't get to go in the vendor village or participate in a spectator workout.
Because they gave you all of it on the day when you showed up for check-in, Hannah.
I know.
Like, what are you complaining about?
I'm going to be just I'm going to be complaining this year. No, I'm just kidding. But I think as an athlete, first of all, like the No Bull check-in experience was freaking amazing, and it was so surreal. And even Aaron on my team, he went in 2015 as an individual. He said Reebok didn't do that whatsoever. It was kind of like, here's your stuff, see you later kind of deal. Whereas No Bull made you feel special. And other than that, if you weren't a high profile athlete, you could easily just leave and go to the vendor village. I had to go run buy some protein from a cent. Like random things like that. Like you can totally do that. You can go see the individual events or any of the age groups or the adaptive divisions. It's not that much different, except from time to time you have to go warm up and then cool down for 2 hours, re-warm back up because you go to another warm-up area, cool down for 20 minutes, and then go out on the field. So that's like the only difference between being a spectator and an athlete per se. And then as a coach, you're just there with all the nerves, and then you have no way to get out the nerves. So I feel like your heart rate's at 200 the entire day. So
I can imagine that, because like when I was coaching my son, like when he's like playing goalie in soccer, there's like a ball that's like coming right through the goal, and I'm like, I want to go out there and kick the ball so they don't score it, But it's just like you're just like, obviously with the nerves and stuff, you're just like, oh my gosh, like go get it, and you're probably like screaming. You probably lose your voice after the weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose my voice by Saturday, and that's only 2 days of competition for the team, and I'm going to lose it literally by Saturday.
Yeah,
and I am totally okay with that.
Yep.
I'm gonna be screaming when they're in the water, even though it's gonna be a pool, so it's gonna be a super loud event. Hopefully it's a pool. There's hence that it's a pool, but I'll probably, and people would be like, why are you yelling? They can't hear you. But I'm like, you hear all, at swim team events, you yell all the time. You just time your yell when they're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So since we're getting close to the end, so we're going to do some closing thoughts. So Xander, what are your closing thoughts for this podcast?
I'm excited to see somebody fail a drug test. I'm like just really just like itching, like, somebody come on, do it for us. We're on the right track. Like, somebody, please. We need one more. Actually, we need, like, to hit my over under from last episode, we need 5, or 6 actually. Victor played the under.
We have lots of people left to test, so it's okay.
Yeah, whole lot. So joke, like, it's more seriously, just excited to see the whole community. Like last year, like post-ish COVID, now that we're even more of a year out and a lot more people are free to come visit, it's gonna be great to see them. And then just honestly just seeing a bunch of friends, different programs, different folks, like seeing Hannah, Vic, Tom, you'll be there next year, but everybody from the Misfit crew, friends from Comp Train, like whatever programs, and just like seeing like James Townsend, Tudor, like those guys, and just like saying hi, watching them run around, because they don't, like, if you're an athlete like and a coach, like, you're probably just running around most of the time.
Yeah. Vic, final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I definitely want to piggyback. I will be losing my voice. I lost it at Syndicate. I was cracking for like the next week and a half. So like on like work calls, it was showing hard. But
Stress.
yeah, I'm just, yeah, I want to see everyone. There's going to be a lot of people I haven't seen for quite some time, and definitely looking to meet some people that I've been saying that, hey, let's actually meet up, because we haven't yet, and then the games will be a great opportunity to do that. So yeah, just a great, I don't know, there's no complaints. I'm just elated. I'm just feeling good.
Okay, awesome. Hannah, final thoughts?
I'm excited for this year. I really hope everybody else is too, whether it's your first time and just, basking in the experience that is the games, to, I mean, all the athletes, all the coaches, everything like that. And like they said, even seeing Madison again, because the town really revolves around the sport and CrossFit when, we come for a little bit. So I'm super stoked. I hope West Chase does really well, and I know they will, because they're a much better games team than semifinals team.
All right, awesome. So my closing thoughts. So I am very happy that all you guys got some audio equipment, and so you guys are sounding very nice, very nice. I'm very happy about that. But also, I'm glad about giving people second chances. So obviously, Ricky Garard's coming back from his popped, time he was at the games when he placed, was at third. And so I'm glad that, people are actually, well, some people are giving, him a second chance, because obviously he was young, stupid, made a mistake. And I think he deserves, to come back, just like his other people. I'm also looking forward to see, everyone's list and see who's actually the most right on the top 5 and the top for the male and female.
We're already guaranteed 1 points for the play-in, guys. We have 12 points that you can win.
And I'm looking forward to watching the games. I know I'm not going to be there. I wish I could, and just to meet everybody. But I mean, there's always Wodapalooza next year, so we'll see what happens about that. And so thank you guys for coming on again for episode number 3, and we out.